Consider this a professional courtesy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Real Estate Realities with the Rebel Broker. My name's Robert Whitelaw, and I am the Rebel Broker, licensed real estate broker in the state of California, member of the National Association of Realtors. But please, don't hold that against me. Welcome to it, folks. I hope you're having a good week. Here we are, straddling the middle. Hope everyone is on target to finish the week strong. We'll see how that pans out. Things are still looking pretty hot anecdotally, from my experience, what I'm seeing so far in the month of February. I mentioned how things kind of really picked up over the last couple of weeks. Unusual increase, I guess you could say, in the amount of interest, particularly from listers. So we'll see how that pans out. I'll continue to give you the updates. Of course, the best way to get in contact with me is through the website. You can find that at www.therebelbroker.com or just therebelbroker.com. From there, you can send along any ideas, suggestions, observations, or questions that you might have. You can join the Rebel Underground. You can also join the Rebel Underground by texting the word Rebel Broker to the number 44222. That's texting the word Rebel Broker to the number 44222. You'll get a prompt so that you know, or a response via text, so that you know that you got the right people and send along the information asked for, and you're in. So that's one great way to do it. The other way, as I mentioned, is at the website. Of course, while you're at the website, you'll also want to take the survey to support the show. To do that, you just click the big red button at the top of the page titled Take the Survey to Support the Show. By doing that, you're not only supporting the show, but you're also putting yourself in the running for a $50 Amazon gift card. And we've given away tons of these things. And we'll be giving away another one at the end of this week. So get your name in so that you get your chance to win that $50 Amazon gift card. And congrats to all the folks who've won the cards we've given away so far, the $50 Amazon gift cards that we've given away so far. We've done tons of them, and we're looking to do a few more. So get your name in the hat, and then you just might find yourself $50 richer in Amazon dollars. What else? Anything else that I need to update everybody on? I think that's got it. I think we're there. I'm always so thankful for the folks who listen to the show. I love when folks reach out and share their stories and kind of give me the view of real estate from where they are. And I've had a few folks do that over the last couple of days. And I've had two people who were real estate agents. And I love to hear the vibe that I get. Because it's either you totally agree with me and you want to yell at me and tell me I'm missing the point or something. And others of you are kindred spirits, and I welcome you. Welcome to the circle of fire, and I hope we can all get along and figure out a way to do this better. Because the bottom line is that's the only way this business survives, right? The agents who do it better, and I say this almost as a hope, is that because all the folks who can be automated out of this business are really the folks who are those top producers, the folks who tell you they're doing 350 escrows a year. All of those people can be automated out of this business. There is no value add. There is a checklist. They simply make sure that document X, Y, and Z gets included in the package. And that's it. That's all the value they bring. Well, I'll tell you what, automation can do that 10 times better than you can. So there you go. The only way we continue to add value is to be strong negotiators and be looking out for the things that it's going to take a while for AI to look out for, and using our instincts to, call out cautions and warnings to our clients where it's appropriate. So I like to think that's what's going to work. But I've spent too much time in this business seeing people who really suck at it, at the actual business of real estate, but being really good in the living room on getting that listing agreement signed. I've seen too many of those folks just really be very successful in terms of how much business they're doing. Despite how much they suck at the actual job of real estate, to think that might just disappear entirely. I would hope it would, but it's just a dream. It's just a wonderful, wonderful dream. All right. So and on that topic of automation, see how I segued in there? It's almost like I planned it. I didn't really, but it worked out well. I wanted to give you another update. We've talked before about the self-driving car thing and how this feeds a whole lot of stuff. And there were a couple of interesting articles that came across my desk. The first one is that Canada's largest energy company is replacing 400 truck drivers with self-driving trucks. There's a picture of the one of these things from the Komatsu company that makes these things. There's no cab on the front of it. There's no I don't see where there's not even a place for a driver to sit if someone needed to do that. So they're clearly not planning on a human being having to drive these things at all. They're not worrying about intermittent points where to park the vehicle or do anything. This looks like 100% automated. So that's interesting. The lead in on this article is that Canada's largest oil company announced last week that it'll be cutting about 400 heavy equipment operator positions over the next 6 years as they phase in a new fleet of self-driving trucks. Suncor Energy, based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, announced on Wednesday that it plans to deploy over 150 driverless trucks, leading to job cuts starting as early as 2019. So this may be happening up in Canada, but this kind of stuff is going to start taking effect everywhere. And I think as this grows, we're going to see this affecting more and more industries. Now, in the United States, we talked about these folks. I don't know how long ago this came up, but we talked about an automated trucking experiment that went from somewhere in Texas to somewhere in California. I believe it was LA to El Paso. That's what it was. And this is from Embark. Embark's autonomous trucking solution just demonstrated what it could be capable of in a big way. It made a coast-to-coast trip from LA to Jacksonville, Florida, driving 2,400 miles from one end of the U.S. to the other. Now, on this particular drive, it had one person in the vehicle, so it was the first test run of something like this. And I loved this one paragraph. Embark's goal isn't to replace the driver entirely, however. It just wants to make it possible for long-haul trips to be managed by fewer drivers, eliminating the need for team driving, for instance, and helping to address a lack of available qualified human drivers for this kind of shipping. Drivers are still expected to help with the parts of the route that don't involve freeway driving, but still the efficiency gains and trip time benefits would be huge once their technology is in service. So I think this is all super interesting. They're looking at shaving it from 5 days to 2 days using this automation. So the financial benefits and the ability to get things to market faster, all things are going to push this. And I'm not going to be surprised when the only time anyone physically drives one of these trucks is maybe at the point where it picks up stuff. And then from the place where it picks up stuff, it goes autonomous with no one in it till it arrives at its destination. And then at its destination, someone jumps in and parks it for unloading. But it wouldn't surprise me if over the next 4 or 5 years, we start to see shipping and receiving areas adapting how vehicles are brought into these facilities to accommodate automated driving and to eliminate the more complicated parking stuff that needs to happen to unpack these vehicles. Imagine a time when no humans are involved, right? Things are already in a warehouse in Florida, automated, and this is already, Amazon's already doing this in their warehouses. A robot goes and gets the stuff. A forklift picks up the pallet, puts it into the back of the truck. A computer calculates proper loading and loads the truck. The truck leaves, arrives at its destination, and is unpacked by automated systems. And then it goes into another local automated truck that takes it to all the stores. So easily, within the next 10 years, we could have an environment where all these things happen without a single person being involved. That is bound to have an impact on employment. And that's why I keep bringing it up, because I think it's also, this level of automation feeds everything, right? It feeds that kiosk in your fast food restaurant. It feeds shopping at the mall, where now instead of having 4 people working, maybe 1 human being is necessary. It's going to be a quantum shift in how employment works in this country, and I think all of us need to be ready for it. Okay. Next, we are going to hit some interesting data relation to house prices. The numbers for December are in, and so we're going to review those. And after that, we're going to talk about 7 markets that the folks over at credit.com think are going to be amazing in 2018. So we'll run down that list, why they think it, and see if it's information that's worth our time in terms of considering where we might want to aim our investment dollars in the future. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Are you ready to jump in and start your search for your first investment property? Maybe you've decided that it's time to own your own home, or maybe you're ready to sell your home and move on to something new. No matter what your goal is, the Rebel Broker can help. That's right, aside from hosting this show, I am also the owner-broker of Whitelaw & Sons Real Estate Services right here in Silicon Valley. With over 25 years experience serving Silicon Valley, Morgan Hill, San Martin, and Gilroy, I or one of my great agents can help you achieve your goals in real estate. So if you're ready to look into taking that next step towards achieving your real estate goals, point your browser at www.soldbyrobert.com. That's www.soldbyrobert.com and get in touch. Let me show you how I will earn your business and your respect. Again, that's www.soldbyrobert.com, or you can call me at 408-852-0525. California Bureau of Real Estate ID 00984-909. Welcome back, everyone. As promised, we've got some interesting numbers. More of the same, really. The market continues to head in the direction that all the data has been showing and what we've all been living through. This is from Calculated Risk, reporting on the CoreLogic data that just came out. House prices up 6.6% year over year in December. So we closed off the year with insane growth. Let's see. Home prices nationally increased year over year by 6.6% from December 2016 to December 2017. On a month-over-month basis, home prices increased by 0.5%, so a 0.5% increase. If we look at the primary causes for this, it continues to be inventory. It's not that there are too few buyers or that we need to, on the financing side, make more dollars available. And that's what's concerning the most. It's one of the things we've talked about on this show before, that if we think the solution to this problem is to facilitate people buying higher and higher amounts of money, we're just going to feed the crash beast. And then when things go wrong, they go wrong big. The chief economist at CoreLogic, Dr. Frank Nothaft, was quoted as saying, "The number of homes for sale has remained very low. Job growth lowered the unemployment rate to 4.1% by year's end, the lowest level in 17 years. Rising income and consumer confidence has increased the number of prospective home buyers. The net result of rising demand and limited for-sale inventory is a continued appreciation in home prices. The year-over-year increase has been in the 5 to 7% range for the last couple of years. So we're still hovering towards the top of that range. But if we continue to see this stress where we get economic factors that are good, we've had changes happen recently that give people more money in their pockets. If that does create more buyers, and I think it's reasonable to assume it does, it just puts far more stress on the already low inventory numbers. So we may end up seeing yet another year of crazy price growth. All right. So if we do continue to see this growth, if we don't see some of the negative things I've expected to have happen, where are we likely to see some of the best opportunities? Well, according to credit.com, they released a list of markets in the following states where they're going to be standout. These are going to be the standout areas in the next year. Number 7 on their list, Colorado. I'm not sure why Colorado is, I guess because they still expect tons of growth, but I mean, Colorado's already pretty nuts in a lot of areas. Home prices have risen quickly in the state over the past 2 years. Housing analysts are predicting the state's housing markets to level out more in 2018 with growth around 3.1%. Colorado Springs will continue to be one of the hottest markets with median home prices forecasted to rise 5.7% this year. Number 6 on the list, North Carolina. The state is this is also interesting because North Carolina was on a couple of lists I think we covered 2 or 3 weeks ago. The state is emerging as a popular spot for those relocating. Home sales are forecasted to increase 6% in 2018, and the median home prices average $325,000. Charlotte is among the state's fastest growing areas, and Charlotte is the city that we were talking about on a previous report that was showing a lot of promise in terms of a market to invest in this year. Number 5, Utah. Another one that came up on one of our lists we talked about within the last month, referring specifically to Salt Lake City. Businesses are heading into the state and driving the housing market. The Salt Lake City market is forecasted to see a 3.2% growth in 2018. The median home price is $360,000. We've got a couple of good ones coming up here towards the top, so don't panic. These, if those price points seem high to you, then don't worry. We've still got some on this list that are going to be better for you. Number 4, California. Interesting, the city that they pick. Inventory shortages in the state are fueling home price increases. Stockton is one of the fastest growing areas in the state, and economists are predicting 4.6% growth in its housing market. The median home price is $385,000. I find that interesting. I kind of like the idea of investing in something relatively close to me. Interestingly enough, Stockton's actually closer to me than Sacramento is. If you are familiar with the state at all, it's just south of Sacramento, just east of the San Francisco Bay Area. So, and Berkeley and Oakland and all that kind of stuff. So kind of an interesting area. And one reason I know why it's tending to be popular probably is I know folks who drive all the way into the Bay Area from Stockton. And the same goes for Tracy, Manteca. And the bottom line is folks can go out there and actually get something reasonable. I actually know a few programmers who live there. They work remotely and just come into the office, say once a week or once every other week. And that seems to be working out for them. So absolutely could be an opportunity for folks who want to get into the real estate market without jumping into marketplaces where the average home price is about $1 million. So there are some opportunities even here. Number 3 on the list, Florida. The most popular areas in Florida are expected to see a 5% increase in their housing markets. In Deltona, the state's housing market that is booming the most, the median home price is $275,050. That's a pretty good entry point. That's not horrible. At least it's under the $300,000 mark, and I usually will categorize that as a lower barrier to entry in terms of entry-level investing. So something to consider. I hadn't heard anything in any other reports relating to Deltona, so of course you'd want to do your due diligence to figure out if Deltona makes sense as an investment. I know for me, Florida, it relies so much on tourism. And whenever you have places that rely on tourism, I'm a little bit more interested in getting to know the dynamics of those markets. What else feeds into it, right? So I did quite a bit of research, for instance, in Hawaii when I was investing there to decide, do I have backup plans potentially? If I want to come in here and do a vacation rental, if I decided that wasn't working out for whatever reason, what would I need to do? Ultimately, I came down on it needs to be a vacation rental. That's the best utilization of the property in terms of the best cash flow. Unfortunately, there is no backup plan for the Hawaii property, but it's been working out well. All right. Texas is number 2. As more businesses relocate or expand in the state, home sales are forecasted to grow by 6% in 2018. The median home price in North Texas is $339,950. And number 1 on the list, and this one's interesting because it's another one that I've had hesitancy on in the past. Nevada, median home values in Las Vegas are expected to rise about 5.8% over the next 12 months. The median home price is currently about $285,045. And it's another one of those ones where it's the concern I had, for instance, about Florida and Hawaii is just how much of a one-horse kind of town is it, right? What is the thing that really drives why folks would rent property there? And for me, I'm interested in seeing a little bit of a diversification in Las Vegas. Is it still very much built on tourism? Now, if you go, anyone who's been to Vegas, the whole city is built on the premise of and bringing people in to do events, those types of things. All kinds of infrastructure is built specifically for that. And I'm also concerned because Las Vegas was one of the hardest hit communities in the last downturn. So one of my concerns would be, how much of a hit do I potentially take if we have another downturn? So you need to weigh all of that. In terms of cities that I find enticing on this list, I think if I was going to do a go-to simply because of proximity, I'll probably do a drive over to Stockton. Who knows? Maybe I'll bring a video camera with me and you can come along with me for a ride through Stockton to look at some properties. Because it makes it 10 times easier, right? Odds are my realtor key will work there, so I can go view properties all day long. I don't need to worry about having a real estate agent with me. But the other one I like in terms of other data we've read is Charlotte, North Carolina. I think that there is potentially a lot of good opportunities there for investors. Of course, anything on this list, if it tickles your fancy, feel free to take a look at it. I'd spend a little time focusing on those first. But of course, it all depends on what your goals are, where you are, and where you feel the most comfortable. Maybe Salt Lake City in Utah is a more comfortable option for you. All right, folks. Thank you very much for listening. I do truly appreciate it. The goal here is always to leave you with enough interesting information to feed the brain a little bit and get your real estate mental muscle working out. Hope we've accomplished that. Thanks again for listening. I'll talk to y'all next time.